evening and went to the DVD store, and I saw there was a DVD called, I saw that there was a secret DVD. I bought it, I went home, I watched it immediately that night, and I cried like I did every night at that point. But I actually felt a bit of relief, and that was so empowering to me at that time. That relief was so empowering and it felt so good. After watching that, I wanted to know more. I was so amazed. I cried. I can remember the first clip that I heard. It was a clip about gay movements, and that in itself was so empowering. 50% of my iPod, it's Abraham clips. I love listening to them on the way to work. Any chance I get to listen to my iPod, I'm always listening to Abraham. The messages are, and Abraham's so funny, but the messages are so practical. I love that. I love that their messages are so practical. The first Abraham book that I read was The Astonishing Power of Emotions. That was just amazing. I realized that I was able to look at any situation that I was in and turn it around to feel better.
And yes, what happened, I became really interested when I saw the clip on YouTube of Abraham explaining exactly what happened with the original film, The Secret. Then that's when I thought, then that's when I really got interested. And I saw 1 or 2 clips on YouTube of the original Secret, and I thought, oh my goodness, then you think, almost as if I've kind of been fooled in a way. So that's when I really got interested, and I realised that whole film is based on this. So that's when I really started becoming interested in everything they had to say. I purchased DVDs and some audio books, and the message just really reached out to me. I think Money and the Law of Attraction might have been one of the first ones I got. In the book they kind of say, don't you ever wonder why people who follow, do what they're told, they go to school, they go to uni, and then they don't do very well. And you've got other people who aren't even that smart, and they drop out, and they're like really, really rich. And like there's a question I kind of asked myself, and they were also asking those questions and answering them, and that's when I thought, this is really, really good.
Well, it was a Wednesday afternoon, and I wasn't temping at the time, so I was at home, and I don't know whether I was watching TV or not, but I'm under the duvet just going, and Spirit said, what's it up, get into Kingston, get this book. And I had written down, I'd been at a friend's house, I don't know, 2, 3 or 4 weeks prior, and it's a spiritual evening, we're talking about books, there was a guest speaker, and someone recommended the book Ask and It's Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And I didn't have a notepad with me, so I'm writing things down on a paper napkin. As soon as I started reading Ask and It's Given, it's kind of like all the lights go off in your head. And it is such a good, good is not the word, it's just such a profound and powerful book. And it just immediately makes you kind of sit up straight and look at life in a different way. And within a few days of reading it, you do change. You just appreciate life so differently.
And so I found this the only Hong Kong spiritual bookshop. I actually found this whole CD set of Abraham. So I just bought it and I put it in my Mac and started downloading it, and I put it in my iPod, and I started listening. And it sounded very weird to me because it was such a different way of living and being. I am a spiritual truth seeker, so I really wanted to know, if I walked the path of spirituality again, what would I gain? And to me, the Abraham teachings were really like an eye-opener to me, because it wasn't judgmental. They weren't judging anybody. Actually, a lot of the teachings were shocking to me. Like the things around war, the things around Holocaust. If you listen to them, they really go against, your moral judgment, right? But actually, if you look at the bigger picture, who am I to judge? And I was reminded of the fact of the first time I read Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, that I was really flabbergasted around what he said in the book. It was like, there is no right and wrong, we don't know the bigger picture, the tapestry. is so big, and there is a hidden balance behind everything, and our judgments are just our judgments. They have nothing to do with reality.
I think within 6 months of making that decision that I was no longer going to go to 12-step meetings, that I discovered The Secret. My first impression of The Secret, before I actually watched it, this was that I am not going to watch that hippie crap. That was really, I thought I probably even vocalised that. It just seemed too way out and weird to me. I'd heard a few negative things, and I ended up watching it anyway. And as I was watching it, I thought, wow, this is everything I've been taught over the years, everything I understood and knew about spirituality deep down inside, but I'd never been able to vocalise it in such clear, concise terms. And what's more, I didn't realise there were other people who were on a similar path to me, searching for something that would allow them to excel without having a load of rules and regulations and actions placed onto them. I later on saw a video of Esther Hicks, of an Abraham workshop, and I didn't have a lot of understanding for it. I mean, I think my reaction was like, well, who's this Abraham she keeps talking about? And I was half expecting her to wheel some old man in and who was going to give all this wisdom, or she was speaking for him because he was too ill to appear that day. I just didn't get it. I think it took somebody explaining it to me to actually realise that. And because, or in spite of all my reading about occult and spiritual matters in the years before, I had this bit of cynicism, and I thought, well, channeling, is this really what I'm looking for? Is this all a bit woo-woo for me? And I kept watching it, and I couldn't fault anything. Every time there was a question asked, every answer that was spoken felt right. It just resonated, it just clicked with me. And I listened and I listened and I listened and I watched and I read, and I couldn't find fault with any of it. So that was pretty much it. So I thought, okay, well, I'm a bit cynical, a bit sceptical about the channeling thing, but where are all these answers coming from? I'm not going to put my attention into that little one thing I have doubts about. I'm just going to focus on the good stuff and the answers. And that's pretty much been it since. And now I'm a lot more open-minded about that, because I've seen so many synchronicities. Too many things have changed and too many things happen, and there's too many good events that it would be pig-headed of me if I was to just say no and just write it all off on one little doubt. There's too many weird things out there.
And then I said, oh, I found some groups in London that do law of attraction. Do you fancy going? He was like, oh, I don't think that would be for me. And I said, well, I think I'm going to go on. And then I was quite nervous about doing it. I was in London, like in a place I didn't really know, but I thought it'd be a good way of meeting people. And you just never know. I didn't know what it was going to be about. And we got there, and of course it was an Abraham-Hicks meetup. And Paul did come in the end. He said, yeah, all right, we'll go. And of course he spoke about, we both were chatting about our experiences, and a lot of people in the group were talking about Abraham-Hicks, and we didn't know anything about that. And so, of course, when you're new to something, you want to know everything. We went away, what is this Abraham-Hicks? Let's look it up. So we got the books, we looked at YouTube clips, and we realised that she was actually in the version of The Secret that we watched. What I like about Abraham is that, there's no dogma around it, there's no rules. I can't fault anything that they've ever said, when people come up and ask a question, there's just nothing that doesn't resonate with me. And I like that all you have to do is get happy. Get into the vortex, and you'll be on the way to where your stuff is. And I've got so used to that now, to thinking, I'm not saying that I never sort of doubt things, you do, but for me it's just be happy, and the stuff that you want will come.
So I was on maternity leave, so I had my first child and my second child as well.
So I was at home most of the time, and I happened not to have many close friends or many friends because I was out of work. So I look on the internet and just look for a way to meet other people and do something interesting. So I just type in meet or Meetup. So this website came up, Meetup, and I just saw different things, hobbies or activities, passion, and one was dance, one was like spiritual things. And within the spiritual range I found law of attraction. I didn't actually know what law of attraction was, but I used to read plenty of spiritual books and self-help and psychology books. So just the sound of it was great, law of attraction. I thought it was something to do with self-empowerment and something spiritual. So I said, yeah, let's have a look. And then I saw Nick's picture and it was inspiring, and I thought, this guy looked cool, and I just read about the description of the group straight away, and it just sounds really positive and really good and inspiring. So I said, yes, I'm gonna give it a go, and so I'm definitely going. It seems like they're really like nice, open-minded people. I bought the Vortex, and it was great, but still a little bit hard for me. But what really got to me was the clips on about Abraham-Hicks on YouTube. That was just like I just like found myself. It was just the best feeling, and after I discovered her, Esther, I was just in love, and I felt like I just had a treasure with me, and I, you know, I always listen to it, and it's just the best thing.